The silent call. You stand in a silence so thick, it presses against your chest like the weight of ancient mountains before they were named. It is not emptiness. It is the hush before the first word of creation echoed across the void. The atmosphere around you feels compressed, as if every molecule holds its breath in reverence for what is about to break forth. You have carried this quiet pressure for longer than you can measure days, folding into identical weeks where the screen of your life showed no movement. Prayers whispered in the dark seemed to dissolve into the ceiling, yet something inside you refused to let them die. Stop everything right now. Place your hand on your heart and feel its steady rhythm beneath your palm. Breathe in deeply through your nose, hold it for a moment, then release it slowly. This silence is not abandonment. It is the sound of heaven assembling its resources for a transaction that will divide your entire existence into before and after. The burden you have carried in secret has never been random. It is the holy pressure of being selected when the world saw only an ordinary life. You have felt isolated, unseen, as if the calling itself was a cruel illusion designed to test your limits. Yet you kept standing when every natural voice urged you to sit down. You remained human under pressure when breaking would have been the simpler choice. The exhaustion in your bones is real, but it is also sacred preparation. Imagine the air itself growing heavier, like the calm before a divine storm that will reshape landscapes you have not yet seen. You have wondered if your whispered pleas were ever heard, or if they simply faded into nothing. Chosen one. They were collected. Every tear, every moment of quiet obedience, every choice to keep going when no one applauded all of it, registered in the eternal ledger. A decision has already been rendered in the high court of heaven. The gavel has fallen with a sound that now sends invisible shock waves through the realms surrounding you. You have asked for a sign, for relief, for even the smallest crack in the clouds that have lingered overhead. Those clouds are not merely parting. They are being torn open by hands that spoke galaxies into existence. The transaction is not coming. It has already been authorized. The silence you feel is the final compression before the flood of glory is released. You have carried this unseen struggle with a dignity the world could never understand. You did not curse the delay. You did not turn bitter when the answer stayed hidden. That quiet strength is the very reason heaven trusts you with what is arriving. Write 777 in the comments now. Let it be your low-friction seal, your personal acknowledgement that you are fully awake, that you are listening with your whole spirit, and that you are ready to receive what the natural mind declares impossible. This is your first sacred agreement with the call that has followed you since the beginning. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the weight of the silence shift from burden to promise. You have walked through valleys where hope seemed to evaporate like morning dew, yet your spirit kept its posture. The calling was never loud. It was a gentle but persistent pull that refused to let you settle for less than what heaven had written about you before time began. Every quiet night you chose to pray, instead of quit, added another layer of strength to the vessel being prepared. The pressure you felt was never punishment. It was the slow forging of a heart that could hold infinity without being crushed by its own weight. New waves of understanding rise within you. The silence you are in right now is pregnant with divine intention. It is the same silence that hovered over the waters before light was spoken. It is the same silence that filled the tomb before resurrection power exploded forth. Your spirit already knows what your mind is still catching up to. Heaven is not late. Heaven is preparing a release so complete, it will rewrite the story you have been living. You remained aligned when the easier path invited you to walk away. You stayed human when the fire tested every part of your soul. That endurance is the hidden foundation upon which this transaction now rests. The burden you carried in secret was never meant to destroy you. It was the exact weight needed to prepare you for the glory that is about to rest upon your shoulders. Fresh metaphors bloom in the hush. Picture the silence as a divine womb where the seed of your destiny grows unseen, protected from premature exposure. You sense the transaction as an ancient covenant scroll unrolling in the courts above your name, inscribed in letters of fire. Every breath you take now carries the scent of coming abundance, the aroma of heaven's storehouses opening wide. The pressure compresses only to concentrate power like a diamond forming under the weight of ages. You have guarded your heart like a sacred ark through floodwaters of doubt, and yet it floats steady. New depths of holy pressure reveal themselves. The silence whispers of resources, already moving toward you in unseen channels deeper than any river. You feel the mantle of selection settling not as burden, but as royal robe woven from threads of endurance. Partial surrender once yielded glimpses of promise, yet full yielding in this hush unlocks the complete deposit. Self-protection dressed as caution now stands revealed as the very veil heaven gently lifts to show the full inheritance. Breathe again, chosen one, and declare softly within, I stand ready in the holy hush, my spirit aligned with the transaction already sealed. The silent call echoes through your bones, confirming that the delay was never denial, but the tender hand of the Father shielding your promise until the exact moment. You walk through this call as one chosen before stars were hung their light, now converging upon your path. Heaven notes every unspoken question, every tear that fell in secret, every moment you chose trust over despair. The atmosphere around you shifts charged with the electricity of coming release, the transaction authorized and moving. You remain in the call, heart, soft spirit open, ready for the signs that will soon confirm the movement already begun. The hidden signs. Small signs begin appearing long before you recognize their pattern, like faint stars piercing a midnight sky, only visible to those who refuse to look away. A scripture that suddenly burned in your heart with new fire. A stranger's casual word that carried the exact encouragement you needed in that precise moment. A dream that lingered for days, refusing to fade. These were never coincidences. They were the hidden signatures of the Ancient of Days, confirming that your path, though lonely, was never unwatched. You endured seasons where every door appeared bolted and every opportunity dissolved before it could take shape. Still, you chose to forgive when bitterness offered immediate relief. You gave when your own hands were nearly empty. You stood in truth when lying would have eased the pressure. Each of those choices deposited something eternal into your account interest, compounding in realms beyond any human calculator. The endurance you displayed was never weakness. It was the slow forging of a vessel capable of holding glory without shattering. New signs emerged in unexpected places. A sudden peace that settled over you during the most chaotic hour. A song that played at the exact moment your faith wavered. Numbers repeating in patterns that defied random chance. Nature itself seemed to speak, a bird landing near you with unusual boldness, a sunset painting colors you had never noticed before. These were the quiet confirmations that the transaction was already in motion. Your spirit recognized them, even when your mind still wrestled with doubt. You remained aligned when self-protection tried to dress itself as wisdom. You kept your integrity intact when the easier path invited compromise. The hidden signs were always there, layered like threads in a tapestry only heaven could weave. They told you the burden was purposeful. They whispered that the pressure was not punishment, but preparation. Every act of unseen obedience was credited. Every moment you chose faith over fear, added to the balance that is about to be revealed in full. Take a deep breath and repeat after me in your heart. I have been seen. I have been marked. I have been prepared. The signs were never random. They were the quiet handwriting of covenant, confirming that your name was already written on the deposit before you ever felt the weight. You thought the delays were punishment. In reality, they were the hidden agreement ensuring your character could steward infinity without corruption. Partial faith would have produced only partial manifestation. Your full surrender, even in the darkest hours, opened floodgates no earthly system could process. The signs kept coming in waves. You almost missed each one. A gentle reminder that the Ancient of Days was moving assets in the unseen realm on your behalf. Fresh signs continue to unfold even now. A sudden clarity in a decision you had been praying over for months. A phone call from someone you had not spoken to in years that carried unexpected favor. A verse that appeared on a billboard or a screen exactly when your heart needed confirmation. These were not accidents. They were the quiet threads being woven into the larger picture of your divine transfer. Heaven was writing your future in the language only your spirit could read. The pressure you felt was the stretching of your inner capacity. The isolation you experienced was the removal of every false crutch so you would learn to lean completely on the one who never fails. Each hidden sign added another layer of assurance that the transaction was not only authorized, but already in progress. You stayed human through it all. You kept your heart soft when hardness offered protection. That choice alone qualified you for what is now being released. New metaphors rise like dawn mist. Picture the signs as golden breadcrumbs scattered across the wilderness trail, leading you to the promised table already set. You sense them as soft footprints of the shepherd walking ahead in realms your eyes have not yet seen. Every repeated number, every timely word, every unexpected piece becomes a seal upon the scroll of your inheritance. Aha moment unfolds gently. The hidden agreement with delay was the Father's loving restraint, keeping the full deposit from arriving before your spirit could carry it without being overwhelmed. Self-protection, once disguised as prudent wisdom, now reveals itself as the temporary shield heaven removes to release the complete flow. Partial faith produced partial glimpses of provision, yet full surrender in these signs unlocks the trillions already allocated in heaven's economy. Place your palm flat upon your chest, feel the steady rhythm syncing with the movement of resources converging upon you. Declare softly within, I recognize the signs, I trust the hidden hand, weaving my future in glory. The signs multiply now, each one a fresh confirmation that the transaction moves with divine precision beyond human timing. You carry the holy burden when every natural sign screamed surrender. Yet your spirit chose to rise again and again. New perspective dawns. These hidden signs are love letters from the throne, confirming selection before public revelation of the deposit. You remain faithful, eyes open to patterns, forming heart anchored in quiet strength, growing within like roots, reaching deep into living water. Further signs emerge in the ordinary. A sudden provision for a need you had not voiced, a song lyric, piercing your spirit with fresh promise. A stranger's smile, carrying unexpected peace. These are the quiet witnesses that heaven's ledger already records your name as recipient of unlimited supply. The endurance stretches across seasons unseen by human eyes, yet fully recorded in courts above where your faithfulness shines like refined gold. You refuse to quit, though betrayal cut deep as hidden blades' doors slammed without reason you could discern. Health wavered and finances trembled under pressures spoken in shadowed places unknown to you. You rose each morning with heart still soft, choosing forgiveness when revenge beckoned like easy escape. Giving when your own cup ran dry became holy habit, standing silent when truth could have destroyed the wounders. The enemy pressed hard, hoping to turn your light bitter to drag you into mud of their own misery. Yet you preserved your humanity, your holiness, refusing to curse back or seek vengeance in your own strength. You walked valleys where path felt like invisible mire, carrying emotions projected to cripple your forward motion. Waves of heaviness thrown like garments of despair tried to cloak your shoulders, yet you kept head high. In hidden altars of endurance, you tended small duties, while flames of destiny smoldered unseen beneath. You comforted others in lighter trials, though your own pressed heavier than any words could express. Divine calling asked everything, yet you gave freely, understanding in your marrow this was forging, not punishment. No applause greeted your faithfulness, no crowd witnessed nights you chose integrity over ease. You stopped for the overlooked stranger, offered hope to burdened soul, crossing your path in passing. Heaven noted every tear, every whispered, yet I will trust every moment, pressure squeezed without crushing. You began to see every closed door as protection rather than rejection, every wave of opposition as holy confirmation. The enemy saw what you sometimes could not, light of your calling shining too brightly for darkness to tolerate. Isolation became sanctuary, where Father's voice grew clearer, pressure pressing you closer to his beating heart. You preserved kindness amid storm, hope amid fog, praise amid hallway of unknown waiting. This created holy irritation to demons seeking your fall, your steadfastness becoming weapon they could not counter. You stood guard over purity of calling when cost climbed higher with every new dawn breaking. The signs confirm the transaction is not distant, but already flowing like underground rivers surfacing in perfect time. You remain in endurance, heart-anchored spirit, attuned to the quiet movement of heaven's economy toward you. The dark night of the soul. Then came the season when even the signs seemed to vanish, and the weight grew almost unbearable. This was your dark night in the valley where every step tested the deepest roots of your trust. The silence became heavier, the isolation more complete. The enemy whispered that your obedience had been wasted, that the calling was nothing more than a beautiful lie, that scarcity would be your permanent address. In those hours, self-protection disguised itself as emotional insurance, urging you to lower every expectation and guard your heart from further disappointment. Yet you endured. You did not curse the darkness. You did not sell your birthright for momentary comfort. You held the line when every visible indicator declared the battle already lost. The intensity of the warfare was never proof you were empty. It was the clearest evidence that the enemy had glimpsed the magnitude of the deposit approaching and trembled. Thieves do not storm empty houses. Pirates do not attack empty ships. The dark night was the final refining fire, where superficial layers burned away, leaving only the pure gold of covenant. You felt the pressure in your chest like an invisible hand squeezing. Anxiety woke you before dawn. Familiar faces suddenly withdrew. These were not curses. They were divine surgery, stretching your capacity, reinforcing your roots, expanding the wineskin so it could contain new wine without bursting. You stayed human. You kept your heart soft when hardness offered protection. You chose to believe when doubt screamed the loudest. That endurance was not in vain. It was the hidden agreement, ensuring your character could steward infinity without corruption. The night felt endless, yet something inside you refused to surrender. You thought the delays proved rejection. You thought the silence meant you had been forgotten. Look deeper now. Every tear collected in secret, every quiet act of worship recorded, every choice to remain faithful when no one watched, added to the account that heaven was preparing to release all at once. The dark night was never the end. It was the necessary compression before the greatest expansion of your life. Place your hand on your heart once more and breathe slowly. Feel the truth settle the dark night, forged resilience no trial could break. You remained aligned when breaking was the easier path. You stayed human under pressure when the fire tested every part of your soul. That quiet strength is the reason heaven now releases what it has held in trust for you. New depths of the dark night reveal themselves. There were moments when you felt completely abandoned, when the weight felt like it would crush your spirit. Yet in those exact moments, heaven was recording every ounce of your endurance. The enemy's attacks were never random. They were desperate attempts to stop a transfer he could already see coming. Your refusal to quit in the face of that pressure became the very key that unlocked the floodgates. Self-protection that once seemed wise now stands exposed as the very thing that would have blocked the full manifestation. Your faith tested in the darkest hour has become the full measure that matches the size of the blessing. Further layers unfold like scrolls unrolling in the night. You carried emotions not your own, sudden anxieties projected to cripple waves of heaviness thrown like garments of despair. Yet you kept head high at tables where gossip swirled, cried in hidden places so no one would hear, screamed questions to heaven in the solitude of your car, all while the fire of your divine calling refused to dim. The long suffering was not weakness. It was the quiet strength of one marked for glory. The refusal to quit the proof that you were chosen precisely because your spirit could endure what would break lesser vessels. You walked through valleys where the path felt like invisible mud, carrying burdens that felt personal, yet larger than your own story. Sudden setbacks struck without warning, each one testing gold of destiny in hottest fires. You kept standing when arrows of envy flew unseen through night spirit refusing to bow. Endurance becomes your quiet anthem, long-suffering proof that you were chosen for what would break lesser vessels. Aha moment pierces darkness. This night is not abandonment, but intimate chamber, where Father downloads blueprints of the coming deposit. Self-doubt, once masked as humility, now reveals itself as enemy's tactic to silence your emerging authority in heaven's economy. Partial obedience once yielded partial breakthroughs, yet full surrender in this night births complete victory over lack. Breathe deeply into the dark chosen. One, repeat after me in your spirit, though night surrounds, I trust the dawn. You promised in the transaction you authorized. You tend small duties in hidden altars, while flames of destiny smolder unseen beneath surface of trial. No reward greets your faithfulness, yet courts above note every tear, every act of quiet obedience. The dark night presses you closer to chest of Father voice, clearer than ever amid silence. You create holy irritation for demons by refusing to curse back or seek your own vengeance. New strength roots deep in marrow, quiet power growing where flesh would have failed long ago. You see opposition now as chisel of master sculptor carving away what cannot carry full glory of the funded life. Isolation transforms from ache into sanctuary of preparation no distraction can penetrate. You speak to pressure itself, declaring it holy, welcoming evidence of selection rather than rejection. The dark night reveals its true name. Sacred preparation for mission, requiring vessel refined beyond measure to steward trillions. You carried flame through longest night endurance, becoming revelation of Holy Spirit, sustaining you through the weight. Traps set for you were never meant to claim you, but to expose hand daring to touch the anointed recipient of heaven's transfer. Your spirit endures what would shatter ordinary souls, proving worthiness for the mantle of abundant provision descending. Gentle ritual rises, place both hands on knees, feel ground beneath as anchor in storm. Declare softly, I endure not by my strength, but by power of one who called me forth into funded destiny. The night deepens, yet light within flickers steady, refusing to be extinguished by any wind of doubt. You remain faithful heart, pure spirit, unbroken, walking through valley toward unseen dawn, breaking within where the deposit awaits, the awakening. Then the awakening arrived, not with loud trumpets, but with a sudden knowing that settled deep into your bones, like warm light after endless winter. You realized the burden had never been random. It was the precise cost of being trusted with kingdom resources the world could never contain. The dark night had not destroyed you. It had revealed the depth of your calling, the strength of your spirit, the purity of your heart under pressure. The delays were never denial. They were a sacred covenant between your spirit and the Father, ensuring your maturity matched the size of the blessing. Partial faith would have produced only partial manifestation, but your complete surrender opened floodgates no system on earth could process. You see it clearly now. Every moment of endurance was interest compounding on seeds planted in tears. The ledger of heaven is flawless. Nothing was lost. Nothing was overlooked. You place your hand on your heart once more. Breathe in the truth slowly. Feel the shift inside you. The transformation is unfolding. Your identity is moving from the one who struggled in silence to the one who is now funded by eternity itself. The executive in the high-rise office of heaven's economy is no longer staring at an error. He is witnessing a deposit so vast, the entire system must expand its capacity to register it. The sender is the Ancient of Days. The recipient is you. The authorization code is signed in blood and sealed by the Spirit. New layers of understanding emerge. The pressure you carried was the stretching of your vessel. The isolation was the removal of every false support, so you would lean only on the one who never fails. The awakening brings peace that surpasses the natural mind. You are no longer waiting for the miracle. You are stepping into the reality that the miracle has already been completed in the eternal realm and is now manifesting in yours. Take a deep breath and declare in your heart, the awakening is here. I am no longer the one who waited. I am the one who receives. The dark night has ended. The new day has begun. The awakening continues to unfold in fresh waves. You now see the hidden agreement with delay as the greatest act of love heaven could show you. It protected you from receiving too soon before your character could hold the weight. Self-protection that once looked like wisdom now reveals itself as the very thing that would have blocked the full manifestation. Your faith, once partial, has become whole, and the manifestation matches the faith. New perspectives flood your spirit. The burden you carried was the exact training required to carry glory without being consumed by it. The pressure was the divine expansion of your capacity. The isolation was the removal of every distraction so your eyes would stay fixed on the one who funds eternity. Fresh metaphors illuminate the awakening. Picture the deposit as living rivers of provision now breaking through the dam of delay with unstoppable force. You feel the transaction as golden keys turning in locks you could not see until this moment of holy clarity. Every cell in your body awakens to the reality that heaven's economy has already credited your account with unlimited supply. Aha moment deepens. The awakening reveals that the dark night was the divine incubator, where your spirit grew large enough to contain the trillions without overflow, destroying the vessel. Partial manifestation was the training ground for full glory, now ready to be released through you in waves of abundance. Place both hands open before you, palms up, receiving what heaven pours into the chosen vessel now fully awake. Repeat after me in spirit. I awaken to the funded life, the transaction complete, the glory resting upon me. The shift is profound. Where exhaustion drained now, a quiet reservoir of strength fills every chamber of your spirit. Holy calling settles into bones no longer foreign, but familiar companion, warming and empowering every step. Mission becomes clear walk out of tomb of circumstances, shaking off grave clothes of lack forever. Step into sunlight, while shock on enemy faces becomes first taste of coming vindication in heaven's economy. Inner power stabilizes, flowing with consistent holy authority, ready for territory enlarging now with divine resources. You embrace divine assignment with heart made new by fire of awakening. Old fears dissolve in light of understanding that caller is faithful to complete what he began in your account. You walk differently, shoulders squared, not by pride, but quiet confidence of one entrusted with heaven's own fire of provision. Mission burns clear to carry light into shadowed places, speak truth where lies once reigned supreme over lack. Stand as bridge between visible and invisible realms, with authority not your own, but backed by the deposit. Gratitude rises like incense for every hidden tear, every unseen battle pressing you closer to the funded promise. Divine calling no longer mystery to solve, but reality to inhabit fully and freely as the recipient of trillions. Inner power flows, steady pure coal. Now diamond seed, now harvest curse, now blessing of abundance. Enemy's envy was misplaced. He attacked because he glimpsed scroll in heaven with your name in gold, detailing victory, provision, influence, eternal. You remained faithful when holy burden revealed its true name as sacred honor of being fully funded. Awareness completes its work. Your spirit now steady lamp. No wind of opposition can extinguish the flow. New vistas open as you partner with calling rather than question its weight upon you. You are ready not by own strength, but because strength of Eternal One has become yours in this awakening. What being chosen truly means. Being chosen does not mean a life without fire. It means a life refined by fire until only what is eternal remains. You are not selected because you are flawless. You are chosen because you were willing to be broken, remade, and strengthened in the unseen places where no audience applauded. The trillions deposited into your account are not merely currency. They are power, influence, wisdom, authority, and favor, backed by the one who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills and paves streets with gold as if it were common stone. You understand now that the warfare was the greatest indicator of the inheritance. The enemy attacked relentlessly because he saw the signet ring already prepared for your finger. You are Joseph stepping out of the pit, not seeking revenge, but carrying provision for the very ones who once betrayed you. Being chosen means your life becomes a living disruption to every system built on scarcity and fear. Your presence alone shifts atmospheres. Healing flows where you walk. Peace descends where conflict once reigned. Chains break at the sound of your voice aligned with heaven. This is covenant, not luck. A binding legal agreement sealed in blood that makes heaven's unlimited resources legally yours. You honored it through every dark night and every silent year. Now it honors you with overflow that recognizes no boundary. The check you hold is blank with authority because the signature at the bottom never changes. You are approved. You are funded. You are trusted with nations because your heart stayed pure when the pressure tried to harden it. New depths reveal themselves. Being chosen means carrying a mantle that demands greater humility than most will ever embrace. It means stewarding resources not for personal comfort, but for the rescue of others. Your life will become a sign and a wonder. People will look at your breakthrough and see mathematics fail. They will run the numbers and receive only one explanation: divine intervention. You are the glitch in the matrix of darkness, the living proof that heaven still moves on behalf of the faithful. You are chosen the way Esther was chosen, the way David was chosen, the way Moses was chosen. Not for ease, but for impact that echoes through generations. The trillions represent more than wealth. They represent the authority to speak to mountains and see them move to bind what needs binding and loose what needs loosing in the spirit realm. Your chosen status is not a title for pride. It is a responsibility that requires even greater surrender. Being chosen means your life becomes the evidence that partial faith is no longer enough. Full surrender produces full manifestation. The deposit now matches the depth of your endurance. Fresh metaphors illuminate the meaning. Picture being chosen as a royal seal pressed into molten gold, your life now bearing the imprint of heaven's economy. You feel the mantle as living wings unfolding, carrying you into territories of influence, once closed to the weary. Every scar from the dark night now shines like medals, proving you survived the hidden war, proving you are dangerous to hell's grip on lack. Aha moment echoes deeply. Being chosen means enemy's attack confirms light, too bright to ignore, and deposit too vast to steal. Self-doubt, once hidden as wisdom, was actually preparation until timing aligned perfectly with the transaction. Partial manifestation was training ground for full glory, now ready to be released through you as funded vessel. Place both hands open before you, palms up, receiving what heaven pours into chosen vessel now fully awake. Repeat after me in spirit: I am chosen, therefore I carry what only I was formed to bear the trillions of heaven's supply. The mantle feels like second skin now, familiar companion, rather than foreign weight of waiting. Gratitude rises fresh for every tear, every battle, every moment weight pressed you closer to chest of the funder. Divine calling inhabits you fully, cold transformed diamond seed, become rich, harvest of provision. Enemy's weapons turned upon himself as law of divine reversal activates in your funded life. You recognize scroll in heaven, written in gold, detailing victory, provision, influence, eternal. Being chosen means becoming deliverer key for those waiting in chains behind you of lack and limitation. Inner power flows consistent holy authority, ready for territory. Heaven enlarges even now with unlimited resources. You are not victim, but victor, whose endurance proves faithfulness of one who marked you as recipient. Transformation brings fresh depths. Pressure once crushing now lifts as divine support arrives in waves. Angels dispatch doors, long sealed, swing open with quiet authority beyond your effort. Resources flow from unexpected streams, not reward, but alignment for mission, unfolding in abundance. Chosen one steps into fulfillment with peace, surpassing understanding, power, tempered by humility. Holy pressure that isolated now draws others near, sensing presence resting upon you as funded one. Mission moves forward with divine momentum, each step marked by hand that called you into the transfer. Dead body and scenario was never yours, but death of every scheme, every curse, every despair of scarcity. You walk out alive, stronger, breathing fresh air of complete alignment with heaven's will of provision. Being chosen means inheriting wealth not worked for positions, not applied for territories enlarged by divine decree. God knows you will use them for kingdom, blessing others, building, giving without reserve. Your bank account health relationships begin reflecting spiritual authority, stable within the funded reality. You carried sacred mantle until it became second skin, perfectly fitted for your purpose of stewarding trillions. New identity forms. You are the one whose light burns brighter, because fire cannot consume fire of heaven's supply. Chosen truly means living out daily reality of quiet power, unshakable trust in Father who funds eternity. Your path forward. The transfer has begun its visible journey from the invisible realm into your daily reality. The funds are moving. The resources are unlocking. But you have an active role to play. Move from holy awe to faithful stewardship. Move from receiving to deploying what has been given. The provision is not for hiding or hoarding. It is for building, for setting captives free, for speaking truths that shift entire atmospheres and generations. Prepare your house for overflow. Organize your mind for supernatural acceleration. What once required decades will now compress into months, because time itself is being redeemed on your behalf. Walk like one who is backed by the full authority of heaven. Speak like one whose words carry weight in both the natural and spiritual realms. The people assigned to your life have been waiting for the Joseph who carries grain in the time of famine. You are the answer to prayers rising from hearts you have not yet met. Guard your heart with deeper humility. Stay hungry for the Father's presence. Stay holy in every decision. The more you pour out in love and service, the more heaven pours in. Become a river of blessing, not a stagnant reservoir. Let the trillions flow through you to a world dying of thirst. Your assignment is now fully funded. Your calling is activated at the highest level. The path forward is no longer a struggle of scarcity. It is a stewardship of glory already released. New perspectives open. The deposit will touch every area. Relationships healed, creativity unlocked, ideas that carry divine strategy, favor that opens doors no man can close. You will see enemies become unexpected allies. You will watch systems that once rejected you now seek your counsel. This is the reversal of the status quo. The last becomes first, not through force, but through the quiet authority of a heart that endured and remained pure. Place your hand on your heart and breathe the declaration. My path forward is funded. My steps are ordered. My future is secured by the one who never fails. The transfer continues in layers you have not yet imagined. New connections will form. New opportunities will appear from directions you never considered. The resources will manifest in ways that leave the world system baffled, because the math of heaven defies the math of earth. Your path forward is not a single road. It is a wide highway of divine possibilities, each one backed by the full weight of the deposit. Every new step you take will carry the atmosphere of heaven. Every decision you make will be backed by resources that have no limit. The pressure you once felt has now become propulsion. Fresh metaphors light the path. Picture the transfer as golden chariots of provision racing toward you on highways of holiness. You feel the momentum as living wind at your back, pushing you into territories prepared before time. Every act of obedience from this point multiplies the deposit like seeds, yielding hundredfold harvest in heaven's fields. Aha moment settles. Deep path forward is not new journey, but continuation of faithful endurance, now crowned with visible abundance. Hidden agreement with delay now reveals itself as perfect preparation for this open door of funded expansion. Self-protection, once wise guard, now releases into bold obedience, flowing from transformed heart of the steward. Full faith produces full manifestation as you walk in complete heavenly alignment with the trillions. Breathe deeply into future place, hand on heart, feeling strength of eternal one within the funded reality. Declare softly, I walk forward in power, not my own, but his who called me by name into overflow. Fourth man who walked with you in furnace now walks beside you into expansion of provision. Your territory enlarges, voice carries weight, light burns brighter, unconsumed by any flame of lack. You are burning bush, still standing Hebrew child, emerging from flames, consuming only guards of scarcity. Support multiplies, surrounding you with favor. No curse can penetrate or diminish the flow. Role entrusted fulfilled, not through frantic striving, but surrendered obedience daily as funded one. Peace flows like river power, tempered by humility. Lives change through your presence of abundance. You become beacon for others, scars shining like metals, proving survival and danger to hell's grip on lack. Photo once cursed, now framed upon mantle of heaven, father looking with pride, declaring, "This is my child who stood through night and now shines in full daylight of provision." Path forward brings new vistas, confirmation whispers echoing through your days, ahead of endless supply. Divine momentum carries each step marked by hand that called you from womb into the transfer. You carry light into shadowed places, truth where lies reigned bridge between realms of lack and abundance. Generational blessings flow through you, refreshing dry places, breaking every cycle of poverty. Your children and their children begin where you finish strong and free in the funded legacy. Alignment brings fulfillment, not with fanfare, but deep, abiding peace, settling within the reality of trillions. Roll God entrusted now daily reality lived out in quiet power, unshakable trust as steward. Transfer complete mission flows outward like rivers of living water from within you, carrying provision. You kept standing in will of Father. Now Father stands with you in fullness of the deposit. Path forward is expansion without fear, shining without apology, occupying space prepared in heaven's economy. New chapter unfolds titled, Victory Next Overflow. Then unspeakable joy, forever in the funded life. The final reminder. The transaction is complete in every realm. The court of heaven has adjourned. The check has cleared, signed in blood, sealed by the Spirit, and delivered directly into your account. You are fully funded not only in resources, but in identity and purpose, in power that cannot be measured by earthly standards. The silence that once felt crushing now feels holy and pregnant with promise. The pressure that once threatened to break you now propels you forward into territories you were born to occupy. You remained standing when the storm howled the loudest. You kept your humanity intact when the fire tested every part of your soul. You stayed aligned with the Father when breaking seemed the only logical escape. That quiet strength, that unseen integrity, that faithful endurance is the reason heaven trusted you with this magnitude of blessing. The enemy's lies are canceled. The covenant is activated at full strength. The inheritance is yours without reservation. Write, "I am fully funded" in the comments now. Let it be your final declaration, your personal seal upon the transaction, your war cry of freedom from every spirit of lack and limitation. This is your moment of public validation before heaven and earth. The Ancient of Days has chosen well. The check is real. The account overflows with resources, favor, wisdom, and authority. The time is now. Stand tall, chosen one. The weight of glory rests upon shoulders that have been strengthened in secret through years of unseen obedience. Walk in it with confidence. Live in it with reverence. Be it with humility and boldness. You are rich in mercy, rich in wisdom, rich in the favor that opens doors no man can shut. The feast is prepared. The table is set before your enemies. Enter into the joy of your Lord with awe and gratitude. The divine interruption you have waited for has arrived. Your before season is finished. Your after has already begun in full measure. The trillions are not the end of the story. They are the beginning of the greatest adventure your spirit has ever known. You are approved, you are funded, you are chosen, and heaven is watching with joy as you step into everything that has been prepared for you since before the foundations of the world. It is done. The transfer is complete. Go and change the world with the resources of heaven flowing through a heart that remained faithful under pressure. You have moved through the pain of unseen pressure into the endurance that refused to quit. You have crossed into awareness that the burden was preparation. You have experienced the transformation of identity from struggler to steward. You are now walking in the alignment where the deposit shifts from promise to reality. Every stage has built upon the last. Every layer has added depth. Every new perspective has opened wider doors. The covenant you honored in secret now honors you in the open. The deposit that once seemed impossible is now your daily reality. The executive in the high-rise of heaven's economy has stepped back in awe because the transaction defies every limit he was trained to believe. Your name is on the account. The signature is unchanging. The funds are available without restriction. Breathe deeply once more and let the final truth settle into your spirit. You are not the same person who began this journey. The chosen one who emerges from the fire carries both the scars of endurance and the glory of alignment. The trillions represent more than money. They represent restored years, redeemed time, multiplied influence, and kingdom impact that will echo long after you are gone. You are the Joseph who feeds nations in famine. You are the Esther who stands in the gap for a generation. You are the David who faces giants with nothing but covenant and courage. The check in your hand is the physical evidence of what your spirit has known all along. Heaven has backed you completely. The path you walk from this moment forward is illuminated by the light of divine favor. Doors open before you touch the handle. Ideas flow with heavenly strategy. Relationships align with kingdom purpose. The overflow touches every area of your life and spills into the lives of those around you. You are not just blessed. You are a conduit of blessing. Stay humble. Stay hungry. Stay holy. The more you pour out, the more heaven pours in. Be the river that brings life to dry places. The executive has closed his screen in awe. The cloud of witnesses cheers. The Father smiles. The transaction is sealed. You are fully funded. You are fully approved. You are fully chosen. Walk in it. Live in it. Be it. The check has hit your account. The time is now. The glory is yours. New waves of revelation continue to wash over you. The deposit is not static. It is alive, moving, expanding. Every act of obedience from this point forward will multiply what has already been given. Every time you choose to pour out in love, heaven will pour in even greater measure. The pressure you once felt in the dark night has now become the propulsion that carries you into territories you were destined to occupy. The alignment is complete. The transfer is finished. The chosen one stands ready, fully funded by the Ancient of Days. The covenant you kept through every silent year now stands as an unbreakable shield around your future. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Every tongue that rises in judgment is already condemned. The resources flowing into your life are backed by the full authority of heaven. You will see miracles in your relationships, breakthroughs in your finances, healing in your body, and divine strategy in your decisions. The world will look at you and see mathematics fail. They will see only one explanation: divine intervention. You have moved through pain into endurance, through endurance into awareness, through awareness into transformation. And now you stand in full alignment. The deposit has shifted. The glory has landed. The check has cleared. Your before is finished. Your after is unfolding in real time. Take one final deep breath. Place your hand on your heart once more. Feel the steady beat that now carries the rhythm of heaven. You are ready. You are funded. You are chosen. Go forth and live the life that was written for you before the foundations of the world. The transaction is complete. The glory is yours. The time is now.